Hello, S-Drive fans. Thank you for joining S-Drive's release webinar. This is the second release of 2019. You can consider this as our summer release. And in these hot summer days, we have some new refreshing features and functionalities to share with you. So today, this release, which we named Document Lifecycle Management, is GA, generally available, right? So you will be the first one seeing what this latest release is all about. And later today, you will also be able to find the documentation about the release, both on our App Exchange site and on our website, sdriveapp.com. So, all right, so let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Burak Fenercioğlu. I'm leading the Salesforce practice at CyanGate. And most of you might know us as the inventor of S-Drive, but we also provide Salesforce professional services now. And we have a growing clientele on everything about Salesforce. So please do not hesitate to get in touch after this webinar if you're interested in improving returns on your Service Cloud, communities, or Sales Cloud investment. And one piece of information, we are a Mulesoft partner now, and we will talk about this partnership and what it means to you later in this webinar. Alongside me, I have Bülent Doğan, who is CyanGate's founder and senior solutions architect. And I will leave the floor to him to talk about what this release means to us. Bülent?
Hi everyone. So this is another great release with the continuation of delivering on the document management features for S-Drive. The main focus here was, again, our customers. We wanted to always listen our customers. We try not to come up with our own ideas and solutions for things that may not even be relevant to our customers. We want to focus and listen on customers' problems and then try to come up with solutions that directly relate to those problems. And the first thing we learned is that the document management on the Salesforce side is, especially on the files side, is not the ideal solution for most of our customers. And our focus was to allow users to use Salesforce along with S-Drive almost in a transparent manner so that we can leverage both best of both worlds as Salesforce is moving more towards the files from attachments, and S-Drive is also adapting to that change. The other thing we learned is that as we run our practice for the services practice and start growing that practice, we are hearing more and more use cases from our customers. And the more use cases we learn and the deeper knowledge of their use cases we gather, we can actually come up with better solutions. So our services practice, which is growing, is also helping S-Drive to be a better mechanism for us to put our knowledge back on the field so that all our customers can leverage what we learned with other customers, other use cases, and spread the best practices by implementing those features on the S-Drive side. Also, what I want to focus on is the fact that our S-Drive is not just a simple application. It is a platform. And in many of our solutions that we build for our customers, what we are seeing is that the platform starts enabling a very broad range of use for Salesforce. We have seen that we turned Salesforce into an ERP system for one of our customers, where S-Drive was the main driver for leveraging many of the requirements for this customer, including managing invoices, financial documents, pushing things out for customers for delivery through the communities. All of these various areas allowed us to learn different functions that are used within Salesforce that can be leveraged with S-Drive, and then focused our release on these various touch points. And obviously, we also want to give a great user experience, and some of the features you will be seeing here will also be a contribution to the user experience. Thanks, Burak.
Thank you, Bülent. All right. So, and thank you very much for that intro. Before I jump in and introduce the release, let me talk a little bit about the ground rules for everyone. So please stay on mute throughout the webinar. You can post your questions anytime using the chat box, and I will pause and check them after we complete each section in this webinar. After explaining what each section is, I will do a mini demo and then answer your questions. All right, so let me quickly walk you through the agenda. All right. We will kick off the discussion by talking about the document lifecycle management and further describe what it means to us. After that, we will be talking about a brand new feature called File Sync. And since I joined the company more than a year ago, this feature was the most requested one, and Bülent referred to that multiple times as well. So I'm glad to announce that we are ready to offer you full synchronization between Salesforce Files and S-Drive now. And we will talk more about it in a second, but in a nutshell, you can upload a file manually or use a DocGen solution to push a file to Salesforce Files. And we will automatically sync that file to S-Drive and delete it from Salesforce Files. So with this file sync solution, we will basically save you money because the cost of the Salesforce file storage will no longer be an issue for you. And good news is we are offering this feature free, right? How cool is that? And you can enable it on opportunities, accounts, contacts, or any standard or custom Salesforce objects. So we will talk more about this later. Then we will talk about tagging. You can now tag files and better organize and classify documents. And it will be the foundation for the AI we plan to introduce on document management in future releases. So that refers back to what Bülent is talking about, building more of a platform instead of an app, right? We will then talk about Lightning, starting with email. We have a beta product called SMail. So I'm going to share that with you and what it does. And finally, we will talk about some other features of this release, such as the compact view of S-Drive's Lightning component, self-service invoicing option on our S-Drive portal, our Mulesoft partnership, which we are very excited about, and finally tell you a little bit about our next release. So it's a packed agenda. Without further ado, so let me start with the document lifecycle management. So when it comes to document lifecycle management, it really has several stages. Create is the first one, and it refers to the generation of a document, and we help you store these documents securely on your own Amazon S3 bucket. So once the document is stored, manage stage kicks in, and it's all about representing your document and classifying it correctly. So it involves creating folder structures, so some call this taxonomy, and it also is all about adding the metadata for your document as well. So the third phase is more about the collaboration, the collaborate. And it is basically the time when you involve more people to review your document and even revise it if needed. So during the distribute phase, you basically have the final version of your document and you're ready to share it with your partners and customers. And finally, archive is the phase when you decide to shelve your document, basically. And it's determined based on your retention policy to delete it, to archive it, or to do whatever you need to do with it. So in the last 18 months, if you look into S-Drive, you have seen us gradually adding features to help you on all aspects of document lifecycle management as listed here. Today, we are going to cover 3 new additions to this list. File sync, which we believe it's a vital piece that was missing, which we are adding right now. Tagging is the other one. And SMail, even though it's a beta product, we really wanted to show you what this is all about. I just want to take a breather at this point. So I want to ask if you have any questions. If you do, please ask them on the chat. Let me check the chat box real quick. Are these features such as versioning configurable? Yes, you can enable or disable versioning. In fact, all of these features that you're seeing over here are configurable, so you can enable or disable them as you wish. So any other questions? Is there a limit on the size of documents that can be stored in S Drive? Practically, no. So it is actually 5 terabytes, but I mean, I don't know if anybody would upload a 5 terabyte document, but in our marketing, we would say limitless for that. Can I schedule deleting a bunch of files? Our professional services team can help you write a trigger on that if you need to. We don't have a feature available to schedule deletion of the files from the UI. All right, so thank you. That was a fast start with a bunch of questions. I see that we have a highly engaged participant, so that's good, but I want to respect the time. So let's move on to file sync. And let me show that to you on what file sync is all about. All right. So every company has a different process to generate documents, right? So some prefer manually to generate documents and uploading to Salesforce. Some want to use a tool such as Kanga, DocuSign, Nintex, SDocs, Adobe Sign, or even OpenText. Because we are an OpenText partner, nowadays we started seeing some relatively large customers to use Extreme, for example, to generate executed documents. The problem with these DocGen tools is that they push the final executed document to Salesforce Files. And it gets very expensive over time to rely on Salesforce Files for your growing need to use Salesforce as your file repository. So we enable file sync as a feature for you to push your generated documents from Salesforce Files to S Drive. And let's take a look at this feature, and maybe if I show you, you will better understand what it is all about. So let me take you to our demo environment. And this is our test drive, by the way. So if you go to our AppExchange site, you will be able to see what I'm seeing here right after this webinar. So, and we have updated it lately. So if you have checked it a while back, you might want to come back and see what is going on. And here is an opportunity. So I want to give you an example from an opportunity. So what file sync is really is basically under the, when a DocGen solution generates a document or finalizes the execution of the document, right? So what it does is it uploads the file into the Salesforce Files section. And from this point on, it basically gets stored here, right? And in this demo, what I'm going to do is I will manually upload a file here. And what I will demonstrate to you is I also created a tab here for S Drive files. I will show you the Houdini trick that whatever I upload into the Salesforce Files section will be transferred over to S Drive files without any kind of hassle, right? So it's all automated behind the scenes. So let me do that. Let me upload manually a file into the Salesforce Files section. Since this is an opportunity, let me upload an RFP document. And then once this is done, I'm going to click Done, and it's uploaded, right? So what happens is behind the scenes, again, the Houdini trick is that I take it from the Salesforce Files and then put it into the S Drive. So let me refresh the page for this trick to take place. It might take a couple of seconds to happen, so that's why I did that. As you see, the Salesforce file is gone, and it is actually ended up getting stored under S Drive files. So it might look like, okay, what is so exceptional about this, right? You might be asking. The exceptional thing about this is that you basically save a lot of money, right? So the point is that storing things on Salesforce files, particularly if you're using a DocGen solution, can get very expensive over time. And particularly if you're thinking about migrating to Salesforce, Salesforce enforces you to use Salesforce files. So that's why this solution will help you save money. All right, so I see a couple of questions showing up. So what I will do now is, but before I jump into the questions, it is not only in Lightning that this solution works. So what I want to do next is to take you to Classic. Basically show in our configuration page how to set it up so that you can keep it if you want to. Let me show you real quick how. So it is a part of our microservices. So in order to set this up, you can basically go into the microservices, and under the microservices, there is a section called Files Attachment Sync. Here you can configure different selections. So you can basically set it up for multiple objects if you want the file sync feature. So in this scenario, what I have done is I want to enable it for accounts, for cases, and for opportunities, right? Opportunity one worked, and for the account one, I think I need to try again. And also the other one that I have is I have a couple of options here in terms of general settings. One is to enable handling of email files if I have a process where I receive files via email. And the second one, that was actually the question, can I delete or just keep under the Salesforce files these files? And yes, so if you uncheck this box, you will be able to keep it forever. All right, so let me see if there are any other questions. What is the difference between attachment sync and file sync? So attachment and file are both products of Salesforce, but attachment is the old repository for the uploaded documents on Salesforce, and files is the new one. So if you remember in Classic, we used to have notes and attachment section on standard and custom objects. In Lightning, we have files for that purpose. So I think whomever asked this question maybe did not go through the Lightning migration yet. So one of the toughest issues you need a solution for is how to migrate Salesforce attachments to files. So good news is using S-Drive can take care of all these issues you might be facing. So please contact me if you have any issues about migrating all of your attachments or your files after this webinar, and we can make it super easy for you. All right, so let's move on to the tagging now. All right, so, and for tagging, when it comes to categorizing your files, we really wanted to enable a feature that will help you find files easier. You can avoid adding duplicates, or so you can actually keep everything clean and even administer which tags to ban as needed. So that's basically a feature where you can avoid the duplicate tags, like I said, or you can even ban the undesired tags. So you have all this control over how you're going to tag and categorize your files. So let me also show you, let me go back here to my demo environment. And then what I really want to show you now is on a particular file. So let's go in to this file. So one thing I want to do with this particular file is to add tags. So there are already some tags that I have been adding into that. So what I can do is I can remove these, right? And I can add new ones if I want. So given that this is a contract, so I can say S-Drive, and what it does, it just basically gets added automatically as a new tag. All right, so it is not only working in Classic. So let me take you to the Lightning experience real quick. So maybe this time we can go in and try this in a opportunity. So we can check our S-Drive files. That was one that we actually pushed from file sync. So I can open it up. I can click on edit. And here I can add any tags I want, right? So given that, well, it's an RFP, but obviously it reads admin guide now. So I can say RFP. And if I click enter, the RFP actually ends up getting answered. And then I can say proposal, for example, and put a comma, and then enter yet another one, contract, right, opportunity. And all of these as tags get added to the document. So what it does, in essence, is it actually helps you with also searching for these files over time. It kind of helps you with the classification of these files. So if I save it, all of these are basically stored under this particular document. Now, and I can even search for that. So what I can do is let me refresh the page so that it gets indexed. So when I go back, I hope that part will work too. So we have the proposal, for example, or RFP would be the other one. So if I click on it, as you see, all the files with the RFP automatically gets shown or discovered by this tool. So I basically can search for a particular file using that tag as well. All right. So let me see if we have any questions. Is it free to use tagging? Yes. So the only requirement for using tagging is to upgrade to 2.5 release. So as soon as you upgrade to 2.5, you will be able to use it for free. All right. Any other questions? Okay, so that's all about tags. So let me move on to SMail. All right. So just a quick note about SMail is that this functionality is in beta. So we will have a couple of customers who will work closely to improve this feature. But if you decide to use it, please share your ideas, including your suggestions for the name. So even including the name, so we can further improve it. So with Lightning, Salesforce is a new email object, and Salesforce truly transformed the way you can email with this new object and make it an actually experience similar to Gmail or Outlook. They call this enhanced email. So seeing what it is capable of, some of our customers wanted to send emails with S-Drive files, and that's why we started building this component that marries the Salesforce's enhanced email feature with S-Drive files. And we are calling it SMail for now. So let me show you how it works. Again, this is really beta, but I just wanted to give a quick glimpse of how it works. So here, basically, we have a standard case object, and we basically laid it out that way. There's also an S-Drive component here. So what I really want to do is to send an email to this particular contact about this particular attachment that I have, so that that person knows about how to resolve the issue, right? So I can add a subject here. I can add CC, BCC if I really want to. So I'm just going to say test email for 2.5 release. And I'm going to say test buddy for 2.5 release. All right. And at this point, I have the option to basically attach a file. And again, this is currently beta, but you can, the powerful part about this component is that you can, in fact, pick from any object the file that you are looking for. So we will basically default it to the object that you are trying to send email from, but we also want to give you the option and flexibility to be able to pick a document from the platform wherever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the case, though, that I'm currently working on for this purpose. And it basically displays to you all the files that exist in this email or in this record. So I'm going to attach it. Once I attach this particular file, and once I'm ready to send it out, I just click send. Email is sent. So when I come into my email, I basically ended up receiving this email with the attachment. So when I click on this attachment, I will be able to see what the content of this document is. All right, so that's pretty much how SMail is. Again, there are a couple of kinks that we are trying to improve. And we will really appreciate the feedback from you on how we can make this work. So please let me know after this webinar on what you really want to see on an email component from us. Okay, let me see if there are any questions on this. Is there an option to use a contact on the email? So there will be on our first patch release before the end of this month. That's what we are really pushing for. So we really ran out of time on getting you a working beta. So this feature was pushed out, but you will be able to pick a contact for your email and even insert templates that you currently use, which is something actually we have an email feature inside S-Drive already. So we pretty much bring all of these kind of features that you are used to with this component too. It's just we need a little more time to complete those. All right. So any other questions on this? Okay, there's one more. Let me see. Looks like what I have been looking for. What do we have for SMail in terms of receiving email responses natively in Salesforce? So you can embed the thread ID for emails that you are sending out. And this way you will be able to receive them back to the cases easily. Again, this is something we can definitely help you. Just contact me right after this webinar and we can help you understand how we have implemented with a couple of our customers that solution. No problem. All right, so let me move on. Good that people liked SMail. We really appreciate it. So I'm going to move on to some of the other features, and also I want to talk a little bit about some other news. So first of all, we decided to build a compact view. So that one, on some of Lightning page layout designs, we knew some customers really struggled to implement S-Drive. It was looking a little different. It was not necessarily in the way like buttons are on top of each other, and it was not easy to find the files in a kind of a narrow layout. So with this feature, you will be able to insert S-Drive on any Lightning layout, and you will be able to use it. So let me show you. In fact, I will take you back to that page I had for the cases. So let me take you back there. So this is the compact view, right? So as you see, and let me show you the original view of S-Drive. So as you see, we have a lot of buttons, and for a larger kind of a layout, this view is really nice. But then when you have more compact kind of layouts where you need to implement S-Drive, we just wanted to come up with something like this so that there are basically less that you can do, but at least it's to the point, so you can actually get things done pretty fast using this compact layout. And that's actually in terms of enabling this. So let me show you how easy it is to enable and disable that layout when you are testing different Lightning page designs. So this is a S-Drive component, and you don't need to change anything. You can still continue using S-Drive, and this is just a checkbox, right? So if I go back and uncheck this compact view, you will be able to see the original S-Drive component. And if you check this box, then it gets into this stripped kind of more compact view. All right. So more options for you when you're coming up with your Lightning layout designs. I know there are a lot of customers of ours currently working on Lightning migration or trying to complete it. So we just wanted to give one more option for them. Let's see if there are any questions on this. This looks awesome. Thanks. It's good to know. Good that you liked it. Okay, so that's pretty much it about from a feature standpoint. That's what we have with 2.5. So what I want to show you next is the self-service invoicing. So as you already know, we have an S-Drive portal, and you are connecting your Salesforce instances to use your Amazon S3 bucket and also use it to monitor your total storage from our S-Drive portal. So now you can download an invoice about your previous month's usage with this solution. So I know I was personally dealing with a lot of these invoicing manually for the credit card customers, and it's open to human error. Sometimes I was making a lot of errors when I'm trying to come up with these. So with this solution, you don't need to deal with that anymore. You don't need to wait from me to help you on the invoicing part for the credit card customers. You can just go into the portal yourself and just generate your own invoice. So let me show you how it works. It's actually kind of cool. So this is our portal, and you can pick basically a payment from a previous month. And obviously, just because this is a portal account that is from the past, we have only one, and there's really nothing in there, but still you will be able to generate an invoice. And before I show you and click on that download invoice, it actually pulls information not only from the payment details, but it also pulls information from the account itself. So whatever your information here is, even including the PO number that you see here. So let me change it to 1234 and update. So it actually pulls that information from that place. So let me also add this email confirmation real quick. So let me go back and pick that, and then click download invoice. So what it did is it basically created an invoice for me, right? With an invoice number, and it also has the PO number, which I just changed, 1234, right? We have the bill to information listed here, and any of your Salesforce instances that you have actually connected to your Amazon S3 account are listed here. Again, it is 0 because there was no usage back then, apparently, for this particular account. But if there will be, then it will be shown here along with the total usage. So you will be able to see that. So again, we are trying to eliminate any human error when it comes to generating these invoices for you. And you will personally be able to do that using our portal. All right. So any questions on this one? Let me take a look. We have a lot of customers, I think, on this webinar that are considering using S-Drive, but particularly the ones that are our current customers, I think, and for their accounts payable departments, I think this is a kind of a nice idea. All right, let me go back and talk a little bit about other stuff. So let's move on to that next news that I want to share. So CyanGate is officially a technology partner for Mulesoft, and we have built the first ever connector for archiving on Mulesoft. So the logic behind the Mulesoft partnership for us is to connect the dots on digital asset lifecycle, similar like document management lifecycle. So both for documents and digital assets, we believe archiving is a very important phase, and we have seen the need from a couple of our customers on implementing a solution for that phase first. That's why we started from that. But you will gradually see our Mulesoft connectors increasing based on demand in number to address needs around managing digital assets and documents via Mulesoft. So let me show you our connectors page on Mulesoft's Anypoint Exchange. It is the App Exchange equivalent of Mulesoft if you are not very familiar with Mulesoft for connectors and API specifications. So since we are officially a partner now, we actually became a part of this Anypoint Exchange too. So if you have any archiving needs, if you really want to talk about your strategy planning when it comes to archiving, please let us know on that one. Okay. All right. So any questions on Mulesoft? Quickly check. Is it free to use? At the moment, yes. So for the first string of customers, we decided to make this connector for free. But obviously, in order to be a Mulesoft customer, I suppose you need to pay some amount. I'm not sure the exact amount. You might contact your Salesforce AE on that, or your Mulesoft AE. I'm not sure, whichever you're in contact with. But if you are a Mulesoft customer, you can basically put it into the design center, put this one into the design center, and start using this particular connector if you want. And it's a Mule 4. So Mule 4 means it's the most recent connector that you can find on Anypoint Exchange. All right. So let me move on. Oops. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the next release. So the next release is scheduled to go live around this Dreamforce 2019, meaning mid-November. So registration is just open today, by the way, if you have seen it. So for that particular release, we will focus on records management. And we are going to add new features such as the file check-in, check-out, legal hold, build retention policies. And all of these is basically more to turn S-Drive into a more process-oriented platform, just like Bülent said, if you remember, taking it from being an app, which helps you with file storage, and turning it into a more process-oriented platform. So S-Drive is probably used heavily by your support department and sales department, but now we will extend its applicability to even HR and legal departments too, with these kinds of additions to it. We also plan to improve analytics on it and add a brand new search functionality to improve the overall discovery of files in the platform, inside the platform. So we kept talking about this on our previous release too, I know, but due to time required to perfect the solution, we postponed the release of advanced search to the next one. So that was the reason. All right, so any questions on the next release? We are looking forward to it. Yeah. We too. Yeah, I'm really excited about the records management aspect of it if we end up adding it to the system. All right, so anything that you have seen here, you can check out all the new features by visiting get.sdriveapp.com. And please do not hesitate to get in touch if you have any questions about this latest release, or if you are in need of any Salesforce professional services or planning to implement Mulesoft on your organization. So we will be at your service for any of these needs. All right. Let me see if there are any final questions before I wrap up. Okay, I guess not. Thank you very much for attending this webinar, and we are looking forward to catching up with you on our next release webinar, or better yet, during Dreamforce. Thank you.